ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषाय शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So let's sing this small kirtan now. Okay. Okay. जीव जागो गौरा चंद्र बोले। जीव जागो गौरा चंद्र बोले। होता निद्रा जाओ माया पिशाची रखोले। होता निद्रा जाओ माया पिशाची रखोले। बाजी वो भूलिया ऐसे संसारा भितरे। भूलिया रोहिले तुमी अविद्यार बोरे। तोमारे लोईते आमी होइनु अवतारा। आमी विना बंधुआरा के अच्छे तोमारा। एनेची औषधि माया नशीबारो लागी। हरि नाम महामंत्रा लाओ तुमी मागी। एनेची औषधि माया नशीबारो लागी। हरि नाम महामंत्रा लाओ तुमी मागी। भक्ति विनोदा प्रभु चरणे पुरिया। श्री हरि नाम मंत्रा लोइलो मगिया। भक्ति विनोदा प्रभु चरणे पुरिया। श्री हरि नाम मंत्रा लोइलो मगिया। जीव जागो गौरा चांद बोले। कोटा निद्रा जाओ माया पिशाची रखोले। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna everyone. Let's see the translation of this a wonderful bhajan written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of the great acharyas in our sampradaya, uh, who is a great grand guru of Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so let's see what he's telling, that Lord Gauranga, right? Gaurachanda means Gauranga, is calling. Wake up, sleeping souls, wake up, sleeping souls. That means Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. How long will you sleep in the lap of witch called Maya? So Maya, that means Maya hoy andhakar, right? Ignorance or darkness means Maya. So whenever there is darkness, we tend to sleep. So Maya, nothing means we are just sleeping on the lap of Maya. And she is called as witch here, Pishachi Rakhole, right? So you have forgotten the way of devotional service and lost in the world of birth and death. I descended just to save you. Other than myself, you have no friend in this world. So we tell, that is my best friend, he is my best friend, she is my best friend. So Krishna himself tells in Bhagavad Gita, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, I'm the best friend of all the living entities. Again, Gaurachanda, he's also telling that I'm the best friend. Why do we tell that best friend or friend? Friend is the one who helps you, and more than that, who gives you love, who helps you whenever you are in trouble. So the only person who comes when you are in real trouble, that is the birth and death, that's Krishna. And once you do selfless service to Krishna, he becomes your friend. He becomes very close to you, and he sells himself to you. So that's how Krishna is. But realization is the only thing. We have so many friends in this world, right? Even after coming to spiritual world, there are some friends in the spiritual circle also, but they are not ultimate. Ultimate is Krishna. Krishna is our friend, but we don't understand it now. You all are now youth, young, you have so many friends, but real friend is always Krishna. Why? You see your friend in this world or this janma. In the previous birth, you had another friend in the material world. When you are a dog, you had a dog friend. When you are a cat, you had a cat friend. But anybody could help? No, but Krishna was there. Even when you were a worm in the stool, that worm, when you took that birth as a worm, even that time Krishna was in your heart as Paramatma. So he is there with you to protect you. So we don't understand it now. Some or the other way, Krishna will make us understand this. So next, what is the Gaurachandra saying here? I have brought the medicine that will wipe out the disease of illusion from which you are suffering. So we don't realize that we are suffering, right? We don't realize, oh, I'm so happy in this world. But a realized soul, he can understand we are suffering. That's what Prabhupada saw, no? Prabhupada saw that whole world is suffering without Krishna consciousness. Similarly, Lord is seeing, Mamayvamsha Jivaloke Jivabhuta Sanatana Mana Shashtani Indriyani Prakritisthani Karshati. We are suffering. Krishna understands. Gaurachandra understands. Srila Prabhupada understands. We ourselves don't understand that we are suffering. Once we understand, once we realize that I'm suffering in this birth and death, we are now very happy. I have family, I have friends, I have that degree, I have this. We are so happy with the illusionary world, created by Maya, created by the external energy of Krishna. We are so happy. But we are not understanding that we are suffering. But they understood. And what they are trying to give, take this Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So he has brought the medicine for us to wipe out the disease of illusion, right? So it's in Nectar of Instruction. It is said that it's like it's like a sugar candy for a jaundice affected person, one who has jaundice. Can anybody tell what is the medicine for that person? For a jaundice person, natural medicine. What is a natural medicine for a jaundice? Anybody can tell? Anybody knows? Those who attended the classes, they can understand. Yes, it's sugarcane juice. Correct. Ekamba Rao Prabhu is telling sugarcane juice, right? But when you're affected by jaundice, can you taste that sugarcane, the sugar in the sugarcane? Can anybody taste that sugarcane, that sugar in the sugarcane? Even though I give you and you're affected by the jaundice, the medicine is sugarcane. But when you drink that sugarcane juice, you don't feel tasty or sweet. Rather, you feel bitter because you're affected by jaundice. And the medicine itself is sugarcane. So as you drink that bitter sugarcane juice, you feel it bitter. As you take that sugarcane juice more and more daily, and for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, you feel that sugarcane juice tastes bitter. Then you take that sugarcane juice and drink it daily. You will feel that yeah. So I hope you can hear my voice, right? Hare Krishna. Can anybody unmute and tell?
Yes,
You can.
Mataji.
Your voice is clear,
Okay.
Mataji.
Yes, thank you. Yes, as I was telling, like for a jaundice affected person, sugarcane juice, it feels bitter in the beginning, and that same sugarcane juice is the medicine. So as he starts taking that sugarcane sip by sip for 4 or 5 months, he starts experience that sweetness. Similarly, we are affected by Maya. Now the chanting, what we are doing, 1 round, 2 rounds, 16 rounds, it's so difficult to chant. Our mind is not in our control. I can't hear all the 16 syllables or the 16 letter words in the Harinam. Sometimes I miss Krishna, sometimes I miss Hare, sometimes I miss Rama in it. I can't concentrate. We all struggle. Sometimes I don't feel like chanting. Sometimes I don't feel like, sitting in one place and chanting. It's so difficult. But that difficulty does not mean that I leave chanting and go away. Prabhupada always tells, trust the process. So, like a jaundice affected person, trust the process of sugarcane juice. Similarly, we are affected by Maya. We should trust the process of Hare Krishna Mantra. As we chant for years and years, 20, 30 years, as the sugarcane juice reveals its sweetness, the Harinam reveals its sweetness, and it will give us the sweetness of Mahamantra. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying to uh, Lord Gaurachandra that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I fall at the feet, Lord's feet, having taken this Mahamantra. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us the Kalinam, the Kalmasha Nashanam. This Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the one which can completely nullify all the Kalmasha, all the ignorance in the Kali Yuga. Right? It is said that Kaler Dosha Niderajan, Shukadev Goswami tells to Parikshit Maharaj, says that Maharaj Parikshit, this Kali Yuga, in the end of the 12th canto, 11th canto, he tells that Parikshit Maharaj, this Kali Yuga, in the end of Kali Yuga, it's very difficult. This Kali Yuga is the last Yuga, no? So all the miscreants will take birth in Kali Yuga. And how is Kali Yuga? Kalir Dosha Nidhe Rajan. Nidhe means a big pond. Nidhe means the ocean. And Dosha means all the bad things. So Shukdev Goswami tells to Parikshit Maharaj that Kaler Dosha Nidhe Rajan Asti Eko Mahadguna. In this whole Kali Yuga full of doshas, ocean full of doshas, there is only one best thing. Which is it? Which is that best thing?
Harinam Sankirtan.
Yes, Harinam Sankirtan. Yes, so Shukdev Goswami tells that Kaler Dosha Nidhenajan Asti Eko Mahatma Kirtanat Eva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Vrichet. That means if you tell the Sankirtan, if you taste the Sankirtan or the chant the Hare Krishna Mantra, what happens? Mukta Sangha, everything will get lost. All this material Kali Purushas things will not be affected to you. So this wave. Let's start. So please keep chanting. You can write in the chat box how many rounds you're chanting. Okay. Please write how many rounds you're currently chanting, all of them. Okay. Yes. So last class we discussed about what? What did we discuss in the last class, previous class?
About consciousness.
Yes, consciousness. Very good. So what is consciousness, or what is it? Basically, yesterday we understood some things. Any points? Anybody remembers? Yes. Nobody remembers any points? What is this? Rishi, what were the some points we discussed in the previous class? Remember?
Actually, the points we discussed is about the soul, how in the presence of soul, the body is conscious, and when the soul leaves, the body is just a gross body left of no use, just like that. And the
Yes.
worth of the body is 210 rupees, just like we heard about that.
Yeah, 210 rupees, right?
Yes.
Yes, our body is not that cheap. So we are inside that body. So we don't tell my hand, my head, my leg. We tell like that, but we don't tell eye, hand, eye, leg, or eye, body, or something. Who is that eye? That's the soul sitting inside that body. We gave an example of chariot, right? So chariot is this body. So it's my chariot. I can tell that. I can't tell I chariot. I am sitting inside that chariot. So chariot is the body. I am sitting inside that chariot. I am soul. So we should understand that, right? And what was the last thing we discussed in the previous class? Which was the last point? Anybody remembers?
Turani stage of dreaming, Mataji.
That's dreaming, swapna stage, right? Swapna. Yes, very good. So that was the swapna stage. That's the dreaming, right? Very good. So here the next argument that was given, or the next reason for understanding that we are souls, is about, yes, Ekamara, that's Turiya. That's different. That's when you are connected to Paramatma, the soul. But we just spoke, we are not going so deep into that, but we just spoke about the swapna stage, or the which stage? That's the dreaming stage. Why do we get dreams, right? We discussed yesterday. Why do we get dreams? What is the psychology behind we are getting dreams? So mind is, yes. So
Collection
mind
of
is
thoughts.
connection of thoughts. And who is active there? Who is active?
The
The
soul,
mind is
Mataji.
communicating with soul,
Yes, mind is
talking to soul.
mind is the soul is it's trying to get things from the mind. See, when you are active, like now, your senses are working. When you are sleeping, your senses are not working at that moment. But in the dream stage, when you get dream, one is you get sleep, deep sleep. Another stage is you are getting dreams. Either of the two. When you are deep sleep, your mind is also taking rest. And when you are in the dreaming stage, your mind is active. Mind is still active. The senses are sleeping. That's why outside you can see the body is like almost dead, but inside the mind is working. So that's why sometimes we can see the facial expression. A person is sleeping and some facial expression, because the mind is active. Okay, that's swapna, the dreaming stage. And why it is happening? Because the soul is active. Mind alone cannot do anything. The dead body cannot do anything. If you are dreaming, that means you are alive. You are not dead, no? You are alive. And who is that doing all the activity with the mind? Who is exploiting the mind, or who is doing the job of the mind? That's the soul is using the mind to do some activity. The soul uses your sense to do activity when you are awake. The soul uses the mind, only the mind without senses. It's taking to act in the night as the dreams. And the soul, when its soul is always active, right? In the Bhagavad Gita, we understood the soul is always active. Satchidananda Swarupa, always active. The only thing is the senses and the mind. So when they both are sleeping, it's called deep sleep. And that's what we discussed, right? I don't know where is the 6th point. We'll directly go to the 7th point of, I'll see, actually it's for the college. This PPTs were made for the college students in the Mangalore. So maybe one of the slide is missing in this. So we'll see, we'll ask Mr. Prabhu if he has the slide of the 6th point. For now, we'll go to the 7th point. So about the memories, past life memories, right? Ian Steve's son, Carcel, professor of psychiatry at the University of Virginia, has extensively investigated over 2,000 cases of spontaneous reincarnation memories. See, Hinduism, or in India, which was the religion in India, the Hinduism, it believes in reincarnation, or it has the reincarnation concept, right? But in outside India, the Christians or Muslims or the Buddhists, they don't have the reincarnation concept in them. Nowhere in their scriptures are given about reincarnation. But the person who is doing this is a Christian person, right? By his name only we can understand. He himself is telling there is some reincarnation memories, and he is not giving whimsically that this case is reincarnation. He investigated. He has a big team. He had a big team, and he investigated and so many things. And one of the famous was, anybody knows that? Who has already gone through this PPT, they might know. Anybody knows? Who is that reincarnation? The famous girl. Shri Hari Priya Mataji, do you know?
No, Mataji.
You didn't go through this PPT? Okay. It's Shanti Devi. Okay. During the independence time, they came to know about Shanti Devi, and it was said, because see, during independence time, let's understand the situation of India. British broke into the Muslims and Hindus, right? And for this thing, Hindus believe in reincarnation and Muslims don't believe in reincarnation. And they thought this is just a propaganda by Hinduisms that they are speaking about reincarnation. And this person, Ian Steve's son, is the professor in University of Virginia. He came there and he started investigating with his whole team of so many professors, so many excellent people. And he himself came there and he saw about the case of Shanti Devi. And he proved that it's a reincarnation. It's a reincarnation. He proved. And there was a big fight. And Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, the person, right? He himself had to put his leg in this concept, and he himself said that yes, this is a reincarnation, and he appreciated that investigation, and he understood that this girl is reincarnated. So let's see a video of her, okay, before we go through, so that you understand what is reincarnation means. Okay, 1 second, I'll show the things. Yes, it's in the which channel it was. It was something like History Channel. It covered it, whole thing. So 1 second. I'll try to get that video. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, I got it. I'll share this. I'll stop share this and I'll share. I don't know if copyright strike will come, but anyways, I'll show because you have to see it. Okay. Yes. Just hear this for a moment. You'll understand what is reincarnation and everything.
Thousands of tales of reincarnation exist in India. On the 11th of December 1926, a girl is born in Delhi. For Hindus, she was to become living proof of their beliefs. Her name was Shanti Devi. Until the age of 4, she never spoke. When she did, her first words were explosive. She told her mother that her home was not in Delhi, but in a town called Matra, 140 kilometers away. She had lived there in her past life. Her name was Lugdi, and her husband was a man called Kedarnath Chobe. Shanti was able to describe the town in astonishing detail, even though she had never been there. She could even remember how she died, giving birth to her son 7 years earlier. For 2 years, Shanti's parents dismissed her words as fantasy. In the end, her mother decided she could no longer ignore her daughter's vivid descriptions. So one of Shanti's uncles traveled to Matra to investigate her claims. What he found seemed to confirm her story. There was a clothmaker living in the town. His wife Lugdi had died in childbirth the year before Shanti Devi was born. His name was Kedarnath Chobe. Was Shanti, his wife, reborn? Dr. Ravat is one of India's leading specialists on reincarnation. He has spent much of his life retracing Shanti's story and recalls Kedarnath's first encounter with her.
When Kedarnath came to Delhi, and there were a lot of people very curious to know whether Shanti had been talking all nonsense or there is truth in it. But when in the morning, Kedarnath very openly and clearly stated that I am 100% convinced she is Lugdi. The whole thing spread like fire, and hundreds and hundreds of people used to come to see this child.
In the 1930s, India was in turmoil as the country struggled for independence from British rule. Hindus and Muslims clashed violently. Mahatma Gandhi, a Hindu, was seeking a peaceful solution. He moved Devi's story center stage in the wider struggle.
At the same time, India has many people from many other regions also. They said that it is, the whole story is a propaganda done by Hindus in order to promote their religion.
In 1935, Gandhi asked for Shanti Devi to be brought to him.
Shanti told me when she was narrating her incidences that she still remembered, even at the age of 62, that she felt the bones of Gandhi when she was sitting in his lap.
For Hindus, she was living proof that their laws controlled human destiny. By 1935, Shanti's story was a national sensation, and Gandhi appointed a commission to investigate her claims. A team of politicians, scientists and journalists took Shanti to Matra. Their aim was to test the 9-year-old's knowledge of the town and people. Would Shanti pass? When the team arrived in Matra, they were astonished by how much the child knew. She answered many questions correctly, although several she got wrong. But she was able to describe the holy gates of the city before they reached them. She could point out new buildings and streets, which she claimed did not exist in the past. Shanti's brother, Viresh Narain, accompanied her on the journey. He remembers it as if it were yesterday.
She told the way.
She showed the way. You have to go that way. And now they are like that. And she guided the team to the home of her previous life.
Outside the clothmaker's shop, Shanti Devi met Namanda Bay, who would have been her sister in her past life.
She recognized me straight away. There were so many people, they were pushing her away from me, but she recognized everything. She knew of each lane, where it led to, knew every tenant, knew where they lived. She recognized the cobbler, the washer, all of them.
The trip culminated in a dramatic encounter. 9-year-old Shanti met 10-year-old Navneet, the son she died giving birth to. Mother and son meet for the first time.
They pointed at me and asked Shanti Devi, "Who is that?" And she said, "That is my son." "How did you recognize him?" She said, "My soul has recognized his soul," and she began to cry.
For the commission, this was final proof. Their report concluded that if science and religion could meet on a common ground together, they could unlock the miracle of reincarnation. The case is of worldwide importance, with direct effect on mankind. We ask all scientists to help us find a conclusion.
Okay, so how was this? So you came to know what is reincarnation mean now?
Yes, Mataji. It's amazing.
You know? Yeah. That's just one case. Such 2,000 cases have been found. So sometimes there are different methods to understand these cases. So this was the video I just showed. It's blank here. I don't know. My PPT doesn't work for that. Okay. So after this, yeah, one is about about this person. So either reincarnation, one is you tell the story of your previous birth to that person. That means you remember and you tell that. Second is that they see if the birthmarks, if there is any birthmark, you know, this is not birthmarks what we get, the small dots. It's the birthmark like some wound or something like you see here that Indian young boy, by the birth itself, he got this kind of a birthmark. This is unusual. It is unusual for a baby to get that. But he got, when he grew up, that was clear mark. So he also started saying about his previous birth. And when they saw in the nearby police station, the postmortem report said in the previous year, there was a, these many years before, there was a gun attack in this chest, and that person dead, and it's proved that he has reincarnated as this person in the next life. So one is your birthmark. See this boy here, you see this ears, that's unnatural ear. So they started investigating. So the severe malformed ear in a Turkish boy who said that he remembered the life of a man who was fatally wounded on the right side of the head by the gunshot discharged at a close range. So, and when they took the postmortem report of that boy in the previous life, and they saw exact mark here in that dead body. So he was reincarnated. And here, almost absent fingers. It's like it's chopped. It's not shorthand, it's chopped. That means your hand is chopped. So here they could understand he was an Indian boy, and boy of India who had remembered the past life of a boy who of another village who had put his hand inside the blades of the fodder chopping machine. So you know that the paddy, after the paddy is the rice, the grains are taken away, they make fodder of it. So there's a machine, it cuts the grasses. So when he was small, he put that hand inside that. So out of that pain, he left his body. So when he took another birth as a human in next body, he remembered that pain when he was entering into that body, and that body also get the same form like a previous birth when he was dying. So chopping finger and his hands had amputated. So you see this here. So this particular boy, what happened here is, in his previous birth, he recollects that he was shot dead, and after his death, he was murdered. And after his murder, he was put inside the sack bag, that big bag, and he was tightly tied in that bag to suffocate. He was not completely dead. He was almost 90% dead and 10% alive. So he was put inside that. He was suffering out of bleeding. And then while they were tying the bag, they tied his knee also. So you can see this mark here. And he suffered. He so much pain, he left his body. So in next life, when he took birth, the pain was remembered. The mind could remember the pain, and he got this body in this form. So he could remember that pain, and that's how he got this kind of a legs. So past life memories, 4 types of evidence: recollection, that you remember, then is recognition, then behavior, and birthmarks. These are the 4 things that Dr. Ian Stevenson, he's telling that by these 4 things you can remember this. Remember that you are from the previous birth, you have taken, you have come here, and the same thing they are telling here. So what does Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in the 8th chapter? What does he tell? What does it tell about the previous birth? Whatever you remember in the previous birth, you become like that in the next birth, right? All these 4 things are from the previous birth. It's not just birthmark. Now don't think yourself, oh, I remember that. Oh, I got a weird birthmark here. I have in the sense I remember. And don't be panic. There's nothing like that. Only rare cases it happens. So here he is just telling that there are some rare cases, and out of that only 2,000 he could take it, and I think so there are still more, but most of them are not revealed to us. So there are reincarnation things, right? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Vashamsha jirnani yata vihaya navani granati naroparani tata sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. That means like you put a new garment and discard the old garment, right? Today what you put, tomorrow you will discard this cloth what you have put today, and tomorrow you'll put a new cloth, right? Similarly, the soul, as the work is done, or as the soul feels this body is no longer fit to be used, it discards that body and takes the new body. And during that time, even the memories, I said, right, brain does not keep all the memories. Actually, the mind, it grasps all the memories. So the intense pain or intense desires, it will take you to next birth, and as you want, the Prakriti gives you kind of a birth. So here is just a evidence from science. So in the end of that video, he's told, right, if the science and spirituality come together, there could be something more we can discover. So that's what the aim of these PPTs, to bring the science and spirituality together. Okay, famous work by the Professor Steve Sun. You can refer these books. Okay, about reincarnation. So that means there is soul, right? That's what he's telling here. So here we enjoy. Everybody want to enjoy. Anybody want to suffer in this world? Anybody wants to suffer in this world, or you want to enjoy?
No,
We
Mataji.
all
We
want
want
to
to
enjoy.
enjoy.
But after doing all of these things also, why are you not feeling enjoyed? Or why are you not enjoying? Why are you not happy?
This enjoyment is temporary.
Yes.
Temporary.
Everything comes to an end. The enjoyment also will come to an end.
Yes. That's why here it's told that even though we are trying to so means to enjoy life, there is something we miss. We are not fully satisfied. So how to become fully satisfied? What is that thing that's not temporary? Not temporary.
The engaging
that?
all the
Our
senses in
connection
Krishna
with
consciousness.
Lord Krishna.
Engaging in devotional
Yes.
services.
But for what? For whom we are engaging in devotional service? To this
For
body,
Lord
or
Krishna.
there's something?
Soul?
Yes.
For the soul.
Yes. Right. We are trying to enjoy, but we are thinking we are this body. Right? The Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi is for the body, and we think if we get out, if we enjoy this, like what animals do, and if we also enjoy, we feel we might be happy. But as I told, today's atheistic society thinks we are the body, and they want to enjoy the senses of the body. But ultimately, it's not the body. They don't understand. That's why we suffer, right? A businessman, he feels so happy when he get money, and after he gets money, he utilizes in drinking alcohol. That means even though he may feel happy, but internally he's not satisfied. See, happiness is something and satisfaction is something. Satisfaction, until you get satisfied, you can't be happy. So you want to enjoy, but what to enjoy, that you don't know. When you enjoy the Krishna's enjoyment, then there is something spiritual. But first of all, we don't know we are souls. Although we know theoretically, oh, we are souls, Krishna told we are souls. But how many of us really realize? When I see in the mirror, how many of you tell that I am a soul? I'm not attached. I should not be attached to this body. It's so difficult. It's so difficult. We don't realize when the death comes, we realize. But it's Krishna's mercy. He has not given us a memory of our previous life. Now, so many of you may ask, why does Krishna does not give us memory of previous life? Why is it? Only some cases like Shanti Devi, we could understand there's something. But why is Krishna not giving us the memory of our previous life? What is the reason?
Mataji, basically, it's of no use of remembering the past life, and in the in this life, it is of no use. That is why. And if we remember some trauma, then we'll be affected. So that's why he makes us forget.
Yes, Krishna says, no, Smriti apohanam cha. Even Smriti, even memory is given by me, and forgetfulness is also given by me. Vedeshcha sarver ahameva vedyo vedanta krit veda videva chaham. Ultimately, he says about the Vedas. But in the beginning, he tells about that I give the intelligence, I give the memory to the living being, and also I am the one who makes it forgetful. So Krishna makes us forgetful. Now suppose you think you got a memory of your previous janmas or the previous birth or previous 10 births. Will you desire to live in this world right now? You don't. You remember how I did in the previous birth, like those people. Will you will you be happy remembering that, or really difficult? You can't sleep in the night. You can't sleep because, oh, I was thrown in the water. I was thrown in the water. You will think all the time, and you get hydrophobia, and you think, oh, he killed me. If the killer comes back, that thing. Or I took a debt in my previous birth. The debtor may they come to me and ask for my money. What will I do? You can't sleep in this life. So Krishna, he makes you forgetful. He makes you forget about your previous life. And he tells that why we have come here, we want to enjoy over this material world. So Krishna gives the facilitation. See, Krishna is like a loving father. Although we are so fallen, although son may be a good son or bad son, but son is son for a father, right? Similarly, we might be good or bad. God is God for everyone. So he made forget at once all the memories, and he gave, okay, you want to enjoy. But one thing we will never forget. What is it? Krishna says it will go on continuing. What is it?
Devotional service, Mataji, from wherever we have stopped in this life, it will continue.
Yes, correct. It's devotional service, right? Krishna says the devotional service, it continues. Swalpam apyasa dharmasya trayato mahato bhayat. I'll deliver you from the biggest of the biggest difficulty if you do little devotional service. So, for example, in ISKCON, you might have seen children, small young children. They say sloka so easily, so kantastha. Within 2-3 years, they start speaking. They make all the Bhagavad Gita shloka kantastha. Why? Prabhupada says the devotees' kids are like Vaikunta kids. They have come from Vaikunta. That means they were doing devotional service from their previous birth. So they came in the devotee family. And they might not remember how they did or what are these things, but they remember the devotional service they have done. That means they get memory. Now, for example, you're reading Bhagavad Gita, and some shlokas you really get hard to memorize. Some shlokas, it's so easy for you. So easy. You feel, oh, in 1 or 2 times I got the shloka. So easy. This is because you remember that shloka from previous birth. It becomes easy for you. You might not understand from where did this shloka become very easy. And some shlokas you cramp, you forget, and then one day you try to memorize it. That is what you have done this life, devotional service. Similarly, some people, when they end Gita 18 itself, they started chanting 7 rounds or 8 rounds. Within 18 days, they did that. 18. I have seen some cases within 18 days. Before 18 days, they were not even knowing about Hare Krishna Mantra. And after 18th day, when we ask them how many rounds you're chanting, they tell 16 rounds. They directly tell, I'm chanting 16 rounds. They don't know from where did they get that energy to chant 16 rounds. They tell that it has become a habit to me to chant 16 rounds. From where that habit come within 18 days? That's because of their previous birth. If within 1 year, within 2 years, you start chanting 16 rounds after coming to Krishna consciousness because it was from your previous birth. Some people, they are in 1 or 2 rounds. 2 rounds, they'll easily pass. 3rd round becomes very difficult because in previous life, you ended up Krishna consciousness chanting 2 rounds of Hare Krishna Mantra. In this life, easily you pass 2 rounds, but 3rd round becomes very difficult for you to chant. So that is this life. So devotional service, it's continuing from one birth to another. Some example you can give who recollected the devotees in Srimad Bhagavatam, one of the devotee. There are so many examples.
Bharat
Right?
Maharaj, Mataji. Bharat Maharaj.
Bharat Maharaj, very good. Another one. Which is that animal which remembered Krishna?
Gajendra.
Gajendra.
Very good. He remembered the shloka when he was in previous birth, right? Next, who was another person? The sage demigod. Who is it? Narad Muni, right? Narad Muni. He started a devotional service. One is the mercy of a devotee and the Lord. Another one is your endeavor in your past life. It will make you successful in the devotional service. So devotional service is continuing. So that's why Krishna says, even if small devotional service you do, I remember for millions and millions of births. Don't worry, right? He tells that in Bhagavad Gita. So we should be fortunate to understand this. So everybody has a home to live. Some businessmen like Ambani and all, they have big, big buildings to live in. So many flats and everything, these many things. But still, in spite of all the advancement, men are dissatisfied, full of anxious, stressed, and depressed, and all of the above. They are unhappy. Why? Because they are not working for the soul. They are just seeing the body. You have that picture in ISKCON. You can search somewhere where the lady is, she's cleaning the cage of the bird, but the bird inside that cage is dying with hunger. We are similar to that lady. We are just seeing the outer cover. How can I drink nicely? How can I eat nicely? How can I sleep nicely? How can I do all the activities so nicely? Even for mind, how nicely I can hear the music. How nicely I'll be educated. I'll be so much, so many certificates I'll get, this. But we forget the soul. And that day we were seeing, scientists were puffed up. And when they themselves came to the old age, when they realized that whole life they were lying to people, they regretted. Similarly, we are doing so many things for this body, but ultimately one day the body will die. So here next is the change of the body. Okay, this is the last one we'll see. The change of the body. What does Krishna says about the change of the body in Bhagavad Gita? What does he tell? Anybody remembers? At least not shloka, at least the translation you remember.
Mataji, it says like the soul, like the body changes from child to youth to old age. Similarly, it changes from one body to another.
Yes.
Like a cloth has changed, so you should not be bothered by that. Something like that.
Yes. Very good. Like a child to like a small baby to a small boy, and then to a youth, Yauvanam youth, and one day it will become the old age, and then it will die. And our body is changing. If you see the baby's body and the old body here, you feel the difference, right? Are they same? Similarly, you can wear a small, a baby, a cloth. Same cloth I can use for these people? No, right? It's a common sense. Why? The body is growing, and you also know there's something called as dead cells, and you are excreting so many things. You eat daily, you excrete daily, and all of these things are happening. So the body is changing. Body is changing. But if I keep your childhood photo when you are this age of this old, and if I keep a baby photo of yours, won't you recognize that baby? And you tell that, oh, it's me. It's me. You tell, no? You see albums of your 1-year-old birthday, 2-year-old birthday, 3-year-old birthday. You recognize that this was me. This was my father at that age. This was my mother. This was my sister. This was my brother. This is my aunt, uncle. We start recognizing each and everyone. Although the aunt, uncle may be not there anymore. Your father and mother may not be there anymore. Your brother may not be there anymore. You were in the old age of 80, but still you say that this person was like that. Why? You yourself could recognize it. Why? Although the body is changing, the consciousness of the soul is the same soul which is there in the body. The body is changing. So similarly, Krishna says, similarly, when the body is no more fit to use, we throw that body and the soul takes a new birth in a new body, which is suitable for to exploit his desires, suitable to achieve his desires. It gets that body. Okay. Yes. So you can see so many pictures, all of ISKCONs here. So as you leave this body, what happens? The soul will enter to another body, right? We discussed about Bharat Maharaj and all of that. So as Mataji just now told, like a garment we change. Similarly, the soul changes its body. So you can see this, it's in infinity. And it's not just a human. Today I was a human and tomorrow I'll be human. No, don't think that. You're a cat, you're a dog, you were a pig, you were a worm, you were a tree. We don't know. And tomorrow, we don't know what we will become. We might become the same tree, same, similar kind of animal, similar crocodile, whale, horse. So many animals are there. 84 lakh species of animals and humans. And in those, there are 10 lakh or 9 lakh species of animals itself. Animals are in only 9 lakh species, including all the demigods and the residents of Patala. Everybody comes in that species. So when we tell these many species are there, scientists are like, they can't believe that 84 lakh species are there. They are limited to this earth, and in earth only they are telling that's unlimited species. But in Shastras, they are given proper number. In this whole Brahmanda, there are 84 lakh different species. So, and it is said that Manushya Janma Paya, Manushya Janma, it's so rare to get Manushya Janma. It's so rare. Why? For example, see why Manushya Janma, or why the human birth is given so valuable thing. Why is it? Let's understand by this example. For a local MLA, we don't care so much. We care. He has some post and he has some responsibilities. And above that, that's the chief minister. And above that is prime minister. And above that is president. Right? We give more security to whom here? The president or the prime minister of the nation or the president of the nation. So we give more security to him. Why do we give? Because he has the high post, and not only that, he has all the facilities, right? President has all the facilities. He is the first citizen of India. That kind of a facility is given to him. But why is those facilities are given to him? Because he has the best responsibility. That's why the best facility is given, right? When you have higher responsibility, you get the higher facility from the wherever organization you're working. For a CEO in the company and the normal employee in a company, or the watchman of the company, there's a lot of difference. The facility given to a watchman is lesser, very less, compared to the facility given to the CEO of a company. Why? Watchman does not have that much responsibility what a CEO has. CEO has the responsibility of growing the company. So they give more facility because he has more responsibility. Similarly, animals don't have much facility in the life. They have to eat what the Prakriti has given them, right? Carnivorous, herbivorous, whatever is there, they have given. And fishes are limited to water. Animals don't have to speak and all of that. They have less intelligence. They can be controlled by the higher species, all of that. But humans are given higher facilities, intelligence. Why that intelligence is given specifically for humans? Because he has higher responsibility. In SSR, Science of Self-Realization, Prabhupada says it, that why are we getting so much facility from Krishna? Because we have higher responsibility. And what is that responsibility? To use this intelligence not to build a big building or skyscraper building, not to use this intelligence in making a nice soft bed, not to use intelligence in making so many scientific inventions, rather using our intelligence to go back to Godhead. That's why we are given so much intelligence and we don't realize it. That's why human body is very, very rare and very difficult. It's said in Shastras that even the demigods in Swarga, Indra is making yagna to take birth as a human in Kali Yuga so that he can get delivered. So that's the fortune of us, but we don't realize it, unfortunately. Okay, so Manushya Paya, Radha Krishna Nabajiya, Janiya Shuniya, Shakhain. So Narottama Das Thakur says that you got a human birth, but you're not worshiping Radha Krishna. Then what are you doing? You knowingly Hare Krishna. Yeah. So what was I telling about the rare human form of birth, right? So everybody please chant because this is very rare. So we have taken this birth. So let's utilize this birth to go back to Godhead. Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Sorry, I
Hare
got
Krishna,
this.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna,
Thank you
Hare
for the
Krishna,
wonderful
Mataji.
session.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Any questions you have in today's topic, what we discussed? Shanti Devi was really excited, no? We were know about her. So yes, reincarnations have a interesting topic today. And yes, do Harinam every day. Start chanting 1 round, 2 round. And there are people who are chanting 16 rounds, really good. So keep chanting and keep hearing classes. Okay. There's Chaitanya Charitamrita after this class. That's maybe at 8:30 or 8:20. Please join. Please see what time it starts. And you can really enjoy it. It's meant for human birth. So let's make this human birth successful. Okay. Yes, Hare Krishna, everyone. Vancha kalpatu rubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnavrind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.